Hi, welcome to RCAM, where I'll be providing you guys with a Easter worshiper's perspective on life. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a while since I got a video put out. I'm going to try to get a video out probably about every week or two, depending on what I got going on. So again, thanks for tuning in. This past Tuesday was my birthday. I had a pretty good day. I got to eat tacos with my mom for lunch, and then in the evening, I have to spend time with a buddy of mine and my daughter, who's now 6 months, which is crazy. It's even crazier to think that now I'm officially 29 years old, and I'm a year away from being 30. And that's kind of surreal because I don't feel like a 30-year-old man. I still feel like I'm in my early 20s, and my wife might say that I still act like I'm in my early 20s, and that's open to debate. But I will agree that I probably do have my head in the clouds a little bit more than I should. Hence why this shirt is probably super appropriate for me. I also got this really cool card that I want to show you guys because I thought it was great, and I think you'll appreciate it. Talk about a good time. It's awesome because I love tacos and I love puns, and this card combines both of them, which I think is great. So today we're going to be talking about a pretty heavy subject. We're going to be talking about what happened this past Sunday in Sri Lanka. For those of you who might be unaware, there was a terrorist attack carried out in Sri Lanka. A string of bombs went off in churches and hotels throughout the nation, and over 350 people lost their lives, and a great deal more people have suffered serious injuries, and the death toll continues to rise too. So each and every day, that number grows. It started out, I think, like about 200 people, and now it's up to 350. This is devastating. When I heard about this news, I just couldn't help but thinking, man, like, here I am worshiping in the comfort of a church and not having to worry about someone coming in and taking my life. And while we were celebrating the victory Jesus had over sin and death, some of our brothers and sisters of faith were not so fortunate, and they lost their lives. We know that this attack was carried out by a group of radical Islamic terrorists, and we also know that government officials were aware of this attack. They were aware that something was going to go down, and they did nothing. And that I find troubling. I also want to spend the rest of this video talking about the response from major Democratic leaders. So people like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, they started using a phrase that's never been used before. They started using this phrase called Easter worshiper. And I myself have to admit, when I first heard the phrase, I really didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But the more I thought about it, and the more I saw other Democratic leaders using this term, the more troubled I became with it. For the first reason being that 90% of the world doesn't call Christians Easter worshipers. They call them Christians, and that's what we're known as. So to use the term Easter worshipers, I think is intentionally dishonest, intentionally used as a means to disassociate the public with the sufferings of Christians. And I think it's just strange that they would use this term when vast majority of people throughout the world identify Christians as Christians. So they were unwilling to do this, and they use this euphemism to describe Christians. Another reason that I find this terminology troubling is because it's theologically incorrect. It just doesn't make any sense. So we Christians don't worship Easter. We worship Jesus Christ, and we make a commitment to follow Jesus, who is the Christ, and this is why we are called Christians, because we place our faith and hope in Jesus Christ. So the fact that they weren't willing to use the term Christians is really troubling, because that's what we identify as. Now, I've never met somebody that would introduce themselves in conversation as an Easter worshiper. And if you've had that experience, I'd really like to know, because I've never met somebody that's like, "Oh yeah, I'm an Easter worshiper. Nice to meet you." No, that doesn't happen. Nobody does that, and it is crazy that they would use that term to begin with, because I really do believe that it minimizes what actually happened. And it minimizes the fact that Christians are people who are suffering by using this euphemism. It just would have made so much more sense for them just to use the term Christians, because it was Christians who were specifically targeted in this attack. It's also really weird how they all started using it at the same time. They all started using this phrase at the exact same time. And I think that's strange. Like what do they do? Like, and I really wonder this. Like, are they all like sending out a mass email saying, "These are the terms and the phrases that we're going to use to issue our public statements"? Or do they get on like a conference call and all talk about what terms and phrases they're going to use that are the most politically correct? It's just really weird for this phrase to come up. And also, like, no one ever used it before. It's just they just made it up. If you type into Twitter the phrase Easter worshiper, it didn't come up until after the bombings in Sri Lanka. And it's just strange. And I really I really do think it was a coordinated effort to downplay the plights that Christians face. And make no mistake, Christians suffer persecution on a daily basis worldwide, and for the most part, the media is silent about it. Also, just food for thought, when the incident happened in Christchurch in New Zealand, when the mosque was attacked by a white supremacist, when he attacked Muslims, because he did attack Muslims, and no one was afraid to say that Muslims were being attacked, and rightfully so, because Muslims were being attacked. Imagine if they used a euphemism to describe Muslims. I think people would be really bothered, because it's taking away from the people group that were actually attacked, and it's minimizing what actually happened. Muslims were brutally murdered and gunned down in Christchurch, in their mosque, in their place of worship. And in the same way, Christians were blown apart in their place of worship on one of the most popular Christian holidays in the year. And I think the fact that we're unable to just call Christians is really troubling to me. So I encourage you guys to think about this. I obviously don't don't respond in anger toward some of the these political leaders, people that throw around that phrase, but ask them why. Ask them why they didn't use the term Christian when that's the most widely known word to describe our faith. I'm curious to see how these political leaders respond. It'd be interesting. So that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love y'all. Have a blessed day.